is Captain Michael Burns. I'm the Public Information Director for the Georgia Department of Public Safety. So my responsibilities as a Public Information Director, our office is in charge of all media releases and media inquiries. So anytime we receive an inquiry on a crash or a pursuit, any incident that we're involved in, our responsibility is to provide information to the media outlet, just tell them about everything that happened in the pursuit or the crash or whatever we were involved in. So I do have a number of close calls. I've been working the road for 18 years, so it's happened quite a bit, but there was one in particular that really stands out. It was in January of 2015. It was one of the times that it's iced over in Atlanta, so the interstate was covered in ice. We had a lot of black ice spots around the city of Atlanta. I was investigating a crash on 75 South at Robert David Abernathy, which is actually an overpass. I was investigating a crash involving a trooper where someone had struck a trooper. And as I was investigating that crash, we did not realize that the road was iced over at that bridge. And I heard a screeching noise and turn around just in time to see a minivan actually overturn and rolling towards me. To my left was the patrol car, to my right was the interstate with traffic still driving at a normal speed early in the morning. So I had to make a split-second decision on which direction I was going to go. And I ran to the front of the patrol car and sort of jumped over the push bumper to get out of the way as the vehicle continued to roll and hit the patrol car right where I was standing. So one of the biggest things I learned is to never be complacent about your surroundings. Make sure you know exactly what's going on all around you. Just because you have blue lights on does not mean everybody sees you and will move over. And also, sometimes you have no control over the actual roadway when you're investigating a crash. Like in this incident, the roadway was iced over, we didn't realize it. And there was a lady that was just trying to drive to work and hit the patch of ice, lost control, and as she overcorrected, tires dug into the interstate, she began rolling over. And if I had not been paying attention and being aware of my surroundings as I was investigating a crash, then I could have been hit by the vehicle that rolled over numerous times. Fortunately, it worked out. Nobody was hurt. We were able to break the windows out and get the driver and the passenger out, which turned out to be perfect timing because another car came by, lost control, and hit her shortly after that. So, it really turned into a mess, but we were very thankful that we weren't hit by the car that flipped over. So really the biggest thing is to pay attention, don't drive distracted. Pay attention to your surroundings, know what's going on around you at all times. Don't be distracted with your phone or the radio or something else in the car. If you see blue lights, don't stare at the blue lights because your body's gonna go wherever your eyes are looking. So if you're staring at the blue lights, you're naturally gonna drive the car towards where the blue lights are. So again, just don't drive distracted, slow down, and make sure you move over. If you see an emergency vehicle on the side of the road, change lanes, slow down. Just try to get out of the way because you never know what may happen. Like that morning that I was almost hit, the road was iced over. She was not driving too fast. She was not anywhere close to us, but lost control and almost struck us. So just pay attention, slow down, and watch out for first responders on the shoulder. So the best advice I give new first responders is don't become complacent when you're on the side of the road. Unfortunately, when a lot of us start out early in our career, and even after we've been doing this for a while, we think that blue light is some kind of hedge of protection that keeps motorists away from us. But unfortunately, sometimes the blue lights turn into a bullseye and people drive over and hit the car or hit the first responders. So make sure you are aware of your surroundings. Don't become complacent and think just because you have your lights on that you're safe. Always have an eye on traffic, always have an eye on everything around you so you know what to do in the event that something happens, and always have a plan and think as soon as you show up on scene, if somebody drives towards me, where am I going to go to get out of the way? Whether that be over the hood, over the guardrail, or whatever, just always have a plan in place. So the move over law, if you encounter an emergency vehicle on the side of the road, now that could be a fire truck, a police car, a wrecker, anything that's an authorized emergency vehicle by Georgia state law, you are to either substantially slow down or move over. If you can't move over, then you need to slow down drastically. And again, a little bit of advice I would say, don't look and see what's going on. Just go ahead and slow down and get out of the way. And it's very important to me because there's been many a times I've been on the side of the interstate, especially working in Atlanta as long as I have. And I've been thankful for those that actually follow the move over law when the shoulder of the connector is, just about the width of a car, and that's it. So when you're on the side of the road and you have no protection on either side with a concrete median on one side and then just the travel lane on the other, it's nice to see people moving over to give us space, because we all want to go home at night. We don't want to become injured trying to investigate a crash. So by moving over, it protects us, and it makes it easier for us to go home every day. So it's very important to me, and it means a lot to me because I think it brings about awareness for our safety working on the side of the road. A lot of times when you think of crashes, most people are concerned about what we do to reduce fatalities, to reduce traffic crash injuries, and what the law enforcement can do to make it safer for the motoring public. And a lot of times people forget that we're the ones standing on the side of the road in the middle of the night or on a busy Atlanta interstate working the crash. So I think this brings about awareness to what people should do to try to keep us safe and what first responders can do to keep themselves safe. So my message would be to never become complacent. Always understand that you're not safe just because you have your blue lights on. That's not just a hedge of protection that'll keep you safe at all times. So make sure you're aware of your surroundings, and anytime you arrive on scene of a crash, make sure you have a plan in the event that a vehicle comes towards you while you're working the wreck. Make sure you have a plan of where to go. You may have to jump over your hood, you may have to jump over a guardrail, you may have to run in an opposite direction, but don't become so fixated on investigating the crash that you forget that there's a possibility you may become injured by a passing motorist. So always have a plan in place and never become complacent.